Hello, welcome to Spirituality Simplified. This is episode 2, Spiritual Awakenings Simplified. Thanks so much for joining me today. This is an exciting, big topic. I was thinking about this earlier. I'm like, wow, I picked a really big topic to talk about for the very first episode. But thanks again. This is a good one. I really think it's important. And we'll go into that in a minute. Just before we get started, I just wanted to remind all you podcast listeners out there that you can also watch this podcast on the Spirituality Simplified YouTube channel. So I have it recorded. It's eventually I'll probably do some live shows so that people can comment and ask questions live. But you can certainly find these episodes on the YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. Spiritual awakenings. Wow, this is a big one. So you've probably heard that term before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. There's also some other terms that are thrown out there that essentially mean the same thing. So you may have heard of enlightenment or nirvana or a religious experience, spiritual rebirth, sacred experience, a mystical experience. All those things mean the same thing. You are having a spiritual awakening. So it's essentially what it sounds like, right? Like you are awakening to your spirituality. And, really essentially in the simplest terms, so, in the spirit of this podcast, which is all about simplifying spiritual topics, really the best way to describe a spiritual awakening is really when you start to realize that you are a part of something bigger. There's something more out there. You are a part of a bigger plan. There's a higher power. You have a purpose here. There's a reason you're here. There's a reason we're all here, and you may start to feel more connected to yourself, to each other, to your environment and surroundings, to your spirituality, of course. And this is all what a spiritual awakening is. And I felt very compelled to begin this podcast with this topic because this is essentially why I created this podcast in the first place. I felt like with this year and the shifting energies of our planet, we'll go into that in a minute, but with everything going on, people are having a lot of spiritual awakenings. Like it's happening a lot more and a lot more frequently. So if you've been called to this podcast, then you are probably most likely awakening spiritually. So, it's a beautiful thing. It is so exciting. And I know this year has been so nutty and all over the place and so much trauma going on. But there are going to be good things that come out of this. And this is one of those things. It's so clear that, people are starting to awaken spiritually. And when you awaken spiritually, you're becoming more in tune with yourself and your intuition, your inner guidance, your true self. You'll hear me say true self a lot. And that's referring to your soul. That is you. That's your essence. That's who you are. And that is a beautiful thing. And I will tell you, being connected to your true self really makes a huge difference in your life. It will make your life so much easier. And who doesn't need that, right? Like life on earth is very difficult. There's a reason that your soul chose to come here in this lifetime because the earth is difficult. It's challenging. You learn so much when you're here. So you come here wanting to learn those lessons so that you too can evolve and reach ultimate enlightenment, right? And so that's essentially what's going on. I like to explain a little bit about the why. And this is where it gets a little complicated and it can get very kind of out there complex. So I'm going to try to break it down as simple as possible in this part. But essentially, what is happening and why we've had so much craziness this year is that our planet is literally ascending, it's raising up, it's evolving to become closer to source. So, and that's another thing too. You'll hear me use different terms that refer to a higher power. So that could be source, that could be God, that could be the earth, that could be Buddha, whatever higher power that you believe in. That is what I'm referring to when I say source. So, this, for a long time, our planet was separating from source. And as a result, we were all disconnected from our spiritual side and our spirituality and our true selves. And so what's happening now is this planet is moving closer and getting back closer to source. And as a result, the planet is evolving. And when the planet's evolving, we as human beings on this planet are also evolving. So we too, in a sense, are connecting back to source and connecting back to ourselves and becoming more in tune with our spirituality and more in tune with what else is out there. What is this bigger, higher power, and what is this bigger plan that I'm a part of? So that's, again, it can get pretty out there. And if you're interested in that, definitely go out and do some research. There's, research 5D, 3D, So if that piques your interest and you're into that, then definitely go do some more. But really, that's in a nutshell, that's what's going on. And that's why we have so much craziness going on this year. It's kind of this rebirth, and there's shaking things up and things are happening. So again, I know it's a tumultuous time right now, but you can take some solace in, you are evolving as a human being and you are growing so much, and that is awesome. So that's kind of a general explanation as to, what is a spiritual awakening and why is this happening? Why is this important right now? So you might be wondering, okay, well, am I, awakening spiritually? Is this happening? And again, like I mentioned, if you're on here, you're probably already on your way. However, I wanted to talk about 10 different signs that indicate that you are having a spiritual awakening. So we'll begin with, just this is a really great one. If you notice that you're starting to ponder and think about different questions such as, why am I here? What is my purpose on this earth? What is my calling? What am I here to do? How can I make an impact in this lifetime? These are great questions, and if you start thinking about that, then you are definitely starting to think about the bigger picture and the bigger plan of, why am I here? And how can I help? How can I help with my own development, but also help with humanity and the rest of the collective, and really helping to evolve this planet? What is my part in this? So that's a really big one. I think that's happening a lot. So it's this shift in perspective. It's a shift in thoughts and beliefs. And another sign is you start to feel a sense of oneness with yourself, but with your surroundings, feeling one with nature, really feeling that connection with other people, feeling the energy. When you're with people, you can feel the energy, you can sense the energy of a room, of a situation, starting to really tune into that and to start to understand that we are all one, that we are all connected. Every single one of us is connected to each other, and we're connected to our surroundings. That's a big indication that you are waking up big time. Another sign is you start to experience synchronicities. So this is kind of cool. This happens. I always get super excited. It happens, and it never gets old for me. So synchronicities are when you start to notice, like, let's say, for example, you start to notice that you look at the clock every day at 11:11 or 1:11 or 2:22. Whatever that is, you start noticing, like, why do I keep looking at the clock? And you just feel compelled to look at the clock at that time. Another synchronicity could be you start to see things such as feathers on the ground that are in your path, or you see coins. That's another big one. So synchronicities, these are your spirit guides and your angels that are communicating with you. And they're telling you like, "Hey, we're here. We are with you. We're here if you need us. Pay attention." A lot of times too, when I see like 11:11, I've been seeing that a lot lately. I stop and think, okay, what was I doing or what was I thinking about? Because a lot of times that's your angels tapping you on the shoulder and saying, pay attention. What are you thinking about? So that's something to start paying attention to. So that's really fun when that starts happening. And another sign that you are awakening, you start to become more interested in spiritual topics. You start researching things like angels or spirit guides, or you start thinking more about what else is out there, like the divine or heaven, and the ethereal plane. You hear that word a lot. What happens when you cross the veil? That's another thing you might hear. You think about God, you think about source, animal totems, what other kind of spirits are out there. You might think about aliens. I mean, that's a life on other planets. Like, what is, we're clearly not the only planet here, and I believe there's definitely life on other planets out there. So, but some people get really interested in that, and that's a whole other subculture. And my husband loves talking about that stuff. But you can, or you might be interested in different dimensions, or think about different universes, different planets, all this stuff, right? All these cool topics. If you start becoming interested in that and that's calling you, that is a huge sign that you are experiencing a spiritual awakening. Another sign is that your intuition starts becoming more heightened. You start paying attention to those signs. Your gut's talking to you. Your intuition is talking to you. Your angels are talking to you. They're kind of giving you messages in your ear and telling you, giving you inspiration. And, that's when that becomes more heightened. That is you tuning into yourself and your true self and your inner guidance. And that's so important, and that's amazing. So that's a great sign. Another one is you start to feel more attracted to the earth, and you feel like this need to be in nature more, and to just walking in the grass in your front yard with bare feet. You want to feel the earth. You become more interested in plants and gardening, and really connecting with Earth's energy. You feel this need to be grounded, and that being connected to Earth, it helps you feel more stable and secure and safe. So that's another good sign. Another one is you feel inspired to start meditating or praying. Whatever you feel called to do. When you're meditating, you're connecting with your higher self, your true self, and you're quieting that mind. Again, you're setting that ego aside and really just connecting with your soul, your true self, and getting that guidance and those messages, and praying to that higher power. That is, again, that's a big sign. If you are, maybe you've been like that your whole life, but maybe you've never had any kind of religious affinity or ever prayed in your life, and then all of a sudden you feel like, what, I feel really called. I feel this need to connect with my true self or this higher power, and you feel compelled to do that. So again, that's another very clear sign that you're awakening. And, another one too is you might feel compelled to seek spiritual guidance. You might want to go see a psychic, or an intuitive reader, or a medium who accesses spirits on the other side who have passed on. You might want to see a healer, like an energy healer. You might want to go get a Reiki session or an acupuncture session. So, you know, that wanting to go seek that out and get the truth and really get some insights, I mean, that's a big sign you're awakening as well. And even if you might be so compelled that you want to pursue that path for yourself. That's what I did. I felt like I wanted to do that. I wanted to become an energy healer and an intuitive reader. So that was really compelling for me. um, but they can give you some really good guidance and some help. So that's a good sign. Another one is you start to understand the difference and the connection between your mind, your body, and your spirit. So those are very distinctive things, but they're all one and the same, if that makes sense. So, we do have this physical body and we do have this mind and this ego, but we also have an energy field. We have this spirit, within us and around us, and you don't see it, with your eye. Some people do, actually, but, a lot of people don't, but it's there. You have an energy body that, it stores your experiences and your emotions, and it is an absolute part of who you are. And so when you start to have that understanding, and you start to understand that you are more than just a physical body, that you are a soul having a physical experience on this earth, then that's a big sign. If you have that understanding and you really start to believe that and feel that in your heart, then yes, you are awakening spiritually. And the last one here I want to talk about is, if you start to feel really called into service, you start to feel like you want to help others. You feel this need to serve others, whether that means you really want to start volunteering, or you start taking on different projects at work that are helping other people. You feel this call to just really help others in need or humanity, or try to make this place a better place, right? Maybe you feel like you want to become a coach, or whatever. That if you have that yearning and that calling, that's a really great sign that you are awakening spiritually. So, again, if any of this resonates with you, then congratulations. That's amazing. And it's a beautiful thing to be connected spiritually. And once you start doing that, you're going to notice shifts in your life. You're going to notice changes. You're going to notice that things become easier. You're going to become more positive. You're going to open your heart and be more vulnerable and loving. And, when you do this, you're connecting with yourself, and you're discovering your true self. And really, that's what it's all about, right? Like, that's what we're all craving right now, is authenticity, right? Like, that's all we want. We want to be with people who are true, and they're genuine, they're true selves. They're just comfortable in their own skin. You're just like, this is me. Take it or leave it. I love myself. This is who I am. Because we each have our own beautiful gifts and individual path here on this earth. And that's so important, to be your true authentic self. And, connecting spiritually is going to help you get there. And, I think that just a couple last messages here. Life is meant to be joyful. It is. I know it seems so difficult, and again, it's challenging here on earth, but we are meant to live very joyful, fun, happy, fulfilled, loving lives here. And you can reach that, and you can attain that by tapping into your true self and your spiritual side, and really connecting with your spiritual guidance. I mean, I call it a spiritual support team, or a spiritual support system. And that includes all of my guides, past loved ones, your ancestors that you're connected to, but you maybe have not met. They are helping you, animal guides. There's a whole, your angels. There's so many different spiritual beings who are designated to you specifically to help you in this lifetime because it's hard, and they're here to help you get, have some guidance and some support and give you that boost that you need, that inspiration, to keep going and to keep, listening to yourself and keep going on your path that aligns with your soul and your true purpose in this lifetime. So, again, if this resonates, that's great. But if it doesn't, that's okay too. I just want to make that point that you are exactly where you need to be. And I don't want you to feel like, oh, I haven't experienced anything. Then what's wrong? Did I do something wrong? Absolutely not. You are exactly where you need to be. And you are perfect just the way you are and just where you are at this moment in time. And if you have that in the future, that's great. But everybody's on a different path and a different timeline. So it's really important not to compare to other people and think, I'm inferior because I'm not as advanced on my spiritual path as other people. That is not true at all. You are on your own plan and your own path, and things will happen as they're supposed to. So just remember that. And just again, remember you are loved and you are perfect just the way you are. So that's it for today. If you want to read a little bit more, I have written a blog on my website that talks about all of these signs. And so that's at soulhealingwithallie.com. So if you can check that out, I'll put some of these notes in the show notes, and I'll make a comment on the YouTube channel as well that has a list of these signs, and so you can check that out. And I would love to hear your feedback. So if you find this interesting, or if you have questions, please post any comments or questions. You can do it in the comments section on the YouTube channel. You can email me directly at allie@soulhealingwithallie.com. You can message me from my website. There's lots of different ways to reach out. So I definitely want to hear from you. I want to know if this was helpful or what your thoughts are, and share with us what your experiences are. We each have our own experience of when we were awakened spiritually. And that'd be really fun to hear about everybody's different experiences, and like, what was the turning point for you that you knew that, things were changing, things were shifting. I am on a different path, and, I'm seeking the truth, and I'm opening myself to my spirituality and this gift that we've all been given. So please feel free to share those, and let me know if you have any questions. So thanks again for joining me today. I'm so blessed to have you in my life. I love you dearly, and again, thanks for the love and support, and I wish you all the best in your spiritual awakening. Thanks so much. Have a great day.